What's up, and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast. This is the American Office Takeover Edition. As always, I'm your host, Seb, and joining me is the Diablo slaying, the Alan Wake takeover man himself, the guy who absolutely has beaten Lords of the Fallen and just left bodies of wake in his wake. This is the one, the only Bobby, man. How you doing today?
What's up, man? I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, before we get to just anything, everything, and everything all between, like, I want to ask, what are you playing right now?
Well, I was playing some EA FC 24
Okay.
in my career mode. I changed the difficulty because it was getting too easy. But I haven't really played FIFA in a while. It's been more PES guy.
Mhm.
So the difficulty spike is extreme.
That's
So
good
it's
though.
like-
It gives you a challenge.
No, it's too much.
Oh
It's too much. It's too much of a difference.
wow.
So it's like I found this website that has like these sliders you can adjust for
Mhm.
like the max real experience. So they have this thing where you can have like a player's special abilities turned on. So all the great players have their own unique thing flair to them. But then you adjust the sliders accordingly. So like it's still challenging, but you have a chance. Unless you just, blow the game open and then you're screwed. But the other way I was playing, it was like crosses, headers, long shots, goal, goal, goal. I was getting killed, like to the point where I was like, what just happened? And then you go to the other difficulty and it was like vice versa. Now I'm destroying them.
Mhm.
So it wasn't fun. And then getting your ass beat isn't fun either. So the sliders make it more realistic. So now if I lose 1-0, all right, at least I was in the game.
It's
Compared with
competitive.
10 minutes in and it's 2, 3, 4-0. That's like, bro, I feel like the real Manchester United. I'm not doing that.
So,
And
is Man U your team?
my team, yeah, it's my team.
Okay, gotcha.
It's my team for like 30 years.
Okay, so you're in it until life at this point.
I'm in
then.
it to life. I mean,
Okay.
listen, they could be bottom of the barrel. I still gotta follow them.
That's not realistic though for them to be bottom of the barrel. Like regulation isn't even like in their dictionary, is it?
I mean, at the rate they're going, if they don't fix their stuff, they can go down.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's just a downfall, a slow 10-year downfall. Like, and a lot of fans get mad when they lose. They're like, "Oh, I can't believe we lost." Really? You can't believe we lost? I'm not mad at all when we lose. I expect it to happen. I don't get disappointed when we lose to a big team. It's like, all right, well, what did you expect, bro? Like, why are you so angry for no reason? You know we have issues. It's not like it's a surprise. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. That is
It's
crazy.
wild.
So
And other games I haven't really played anything really. I just finished Achilles.
so in
Legend Untold.
EA, can you get regulated in like franchise?
Well,
modes?
if you play manager mode,
Okay.
so some people try to go from like the bottom league to work their way up. They have
Mhm.
like fun with that. Or if you just go like right away to the big leagues, yeah, man. If you're not doing good, your team can get regulated. But I
Oh,
don't
that's
know
cool.
if you actually can, unless you play for like a decent team, nothing that's expecting too high of you, because you can get fired in manager mode.
What? That's cool.
Yeah,
So
they could fire you. So then you have to find like another team, but then your rating popularity drops. So I've never been fired, but I haven't achieved everything all the time. But I've been popular, I guess. But
Okay.
I'm pretty sure if you get your team down there and they don't want to have regulation issues, you probably get terminated.
I like this.
Yeah,
I
and
like
then
the sound of
apparently
this.
if you play career mode and you retire, you have a chance to become a manager.
Oh, that's dope.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I never really tried it, but I would try it. That seems pretty interesting.
Yeah. I'm like, you'd have to sim a lot to get to a retirement, though.
Yeah, you have to sim a lot. I mean, like, yeah, you could like what I like to do is just have the team set up and my play styles and just sim it,
Mhm.
and then watch see what happens. Because I feel like, all right, you know what, I did my best effort, my best team out there. I make some changes between. That's what I do.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what else? What else you been playing?
Well, I just beat Legends, Achilles Legends Untold.
How was
My
that?
stepfather recommended it. It was all right. It was like a six. I wouldn't say like it's oh my god you have to buy it, but it was on sale. It was $20. It was on sale for like 12.
Okay.
For a $12 game, I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But was it AAA? No, but it was decent. It was like a Diablo top-down style view. I love those kind of games. I just love that style. So I just beat that, and then I realized I have a bunch of weird, like fake PS1 looking games from like horror games, like so many of them. So I figured I was gonna start maybe doing one of those or Spider-Man 2.
How did you get so many of these games?
Whenever there's a sale, like I could spend like hours looking at the PlayStation Store, and
Oh,
then
you're
games
bargain bin shopping.
I like to add to my wish list.
Hmm.
And then if it goes on sale, I get a notification, and I look at it and I wait. And if it drops down enough, I'll get it because some of the games will drop down. Like these games are $20. I got it for like $5.
Okay. Okay.
And it's
So
something
that.
to do easy to pass the time of like a long game.
Mhm.
Or if I'm playing a game with my stepfather's co-op and like he's not around, then I'll play one of these games for myself.
So is that the sweet spot? That $3 to $5 for you?
I could do a 10.
Okay.
I mean, especially if I know what it is, like I said, like Choo Choo Charles, I talked about the game. I was really excited
Hmm.
about it. It's $20. It's not that big. I could buy it now, but I have other games already, so it's in a wish list. Like I don't want to just jump around. I kind of have like an order. I want to play them. So if this game drops, I'll buy it.
Yeah. And so how'd you find out about True True Sorrows? Because like that's such an interesting story to me.
I found out about it from a meme actually. I was going through Instagram, a bunch of guys that like I follow a bunch of gamers and stuff, and there was some kind of meme when you anger Thomas the Tank Engine.
Hmm.
And I was like, and then like I just thought it was like someone drew this, like, oh, he's angry, like on roids. But then I'm like, when I looked into it, I'm like, oh my God, this is an actual game they're making. So I looked into it and it's not, I think it has something to do with Thomas the Tank Engine, but it also doesn't. It's some kind of like story within a story
It is.
about Cuckoo Charles or something. So I don't remember exactly what it was, but then when I heard that and I saw the gameplay trailer, I was like, wow, this is wild. So it was always on my radar. And then I signed up for email notifications from the company, and I got an email that the trailer was out, and then the game was a date. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for this. Play this game. It looks crazy. That's what I heard
that
about that.
it's like it's a crazy concept, like because it is that Thomas the Choo Choo Train, but then it's also like this is almost I don't know insidious in so many ways of like this train is out to kill you at any given moment, and then
No, it's so weird.
it's got
And I
spider
watched it.
legs.
Yeah, it comes at you. So apparently, if you're in your train, you can escape it. But if you're exploring the world and like I think there's some kind of notification or something happens where you know it's coming, you have to just get in your train, bro, or you're done. So I don't exactly know the exactly style of the gameplay is, but I mean it's ready to be purchased at the right drop.
The crazy thing is like they have a like that studio put out like a almost like a documentary style almost of how they made that game and what like the early inception of what it
Oh,
looked like in
really?
its early stages on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh,
And
no way.
yeah, so I'm like, it's they put out like that, and then he's been on a podcast where he talked about like the very early stages of like how he developed it and what it was like meant to be versus how it turned out, and it's so interesting, so
Okay, I
interesting.
didn't know about that. I'll definitely check that out then because I like the whole concept and idea.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely unique. Like,
It is.
speaking of like horror things, man, this feels like a renaissance of like survival horror, don't you think?
Oh, it's coming back. Definitely coming back. I don't know when it started, but I saw the trailer for Tormented Souls.
Hmm.
Very old school, like like PS2 survival horror game type of setup. So I have that game. I really enjoyed that game. Apparently, the sequel's coming out, and there's a bunch of other horror games in the mix that's coming out. Like I said, like I think it's called Body Wash, something like that.
Yeah, I heard of
And
that one.
I just saw the cover, and it's like a washing machine with two heads in it. Hilarious. And I'm like, you know what? For $5, let's download it. But they all look this like not the same, but they all have the same kind of style.
Hmm.
So they have this game. I think it's just called Nun Massacre, and it's like you have to escape from a nun who's trying to kill you.
Oh,
But
that's crazy.
it's like a PS1 graphic looking game. And then they had a Christmas special. So apparently for Xbox, it's been delisted,
Hmm.
but for PlayStation, they still had it, and it's called Christmas Massacre. And you're
Oh,
dressed up as like a psycho Santa, killing all these people in the house. So I don't know if it's gonna get removed from PlayStation, but I bought it because I have it now, so you can't take it away from me. And if it sucks, it sucks. But at least I have it. Because
so you.
I was gonna try to get that platinum for Christmas Day,
Mhm.
but it would take a lot longer than I thought. So I'm like, let me not do this. Maybe I'll do it like this coming Christmas, play within like 2 weeks, and then try to bam on Christmas. That'd be
That's
hilarious.
funny. That's funny. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
almost like panic bought in case it got
Yeah,
delisted.
yeah, bro. So I was like, it got delisted. I'm not gonna see why. Like, it's just the most random game. You just go around and you try to kill the people in the house as fast as possible. It's weird. It's weird. But I have a bunch of games like that in the mix.
Okay, okay. So you're playing. So you played FC, and then you've also been on the survival horror or bargain bin, and as
Bargain
well.
binning.
Yeah. What else have you
That's
been
how I
playing?
found out about Cookie Cutter.
Cookie Cutter. What is this?
It looks like a 2D Metro style, Metrovania type of
Okay.
game. Um, the graphics look cool. The story was pretty interesting. It's almost like, I mean, I don't know if it's true, but I could say it's kind of like a 2D lollipop chainsaw. I
Oh,
guess that
okay.
kind of craziness. So I found out about that again, looking on the PSN store, and like you set the game, you might like this. And I always scroll all the games, and if I see something I like, I drop down, and it becomes just a drop down of a drop down of a drop down. That's how I search for these weird games. Yeah, so this is gonna be a weird year for me because
Okay.
I normally wouldn't play a lot of these games. But I'm like, you know what? I got the surgery coming up. I have some time off work. Why not? You know?
You're becoming indie man.
Yeah, man.
You're
Yeah,
becoming an indie
yeah,
games guy.
yeah. I don't mind it. I mean, I really don't mind it. Like, I liked Axiom Verge.
Hmm.
Um, like Black was it Death's Door?
Death stores were good,
That was
really
pretty
good.
dope. That
Hmm.
was really good. So like, if it's out there and it's available, like even Last Faith, I think it's called.
Yeah, that was
I
a good
got
one.
that. So I'm gonna try that out too. I mean, I'm interested in it, so I don't really mind what it is, as long as it's good.
Yeah, yeah. Were you a Hollow Knight guy when that came out?
No, I didn't play Hollow Knight, but I did play Hollow Knight. Wait, no. What's the other one? There's another knight game. He looks like a horned knight.
Horn Knight, Horn
Oh
Knight.
man, it kind
I'm
of like
drawing a blank.
he had like the Scrooge McDuck type of attack with the shovel knight,
Shovel
shovel knight.
Knight. Okay.
That yeah, no, not Hollow Knight. I play Shovel
Hmm.
Knight. I I don't know if I have Hollow Knight. I have to see if I have it or not. But I never played it. No.
Okay, okay. That one's Shovel Knight's good. Hollow
Yeah.
Knight feels like it's depending on who you talk to, is Hall of Fame territory to a lot of people. It's
Oh really?
almost yeah. It's like Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's for the last like 3 years has been on a lot of people's like most anticipated game list. Like the second one coming out,
Oh
but
wow.
because the first one just took the world by storm. So I'm like, if you like those Metroidvania type games, a la like the Shovel Knights, a la like I'm trying to think like Castlevania and such like that. This is
Hmm.
kind of feels like Castlevania meets Death's Door in a
Oh
lot of
wow. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
And I heard what is it? Death cells, stem cells, something like that.
Dead
Dead
Cells, yeah.
cells. I
Mhm.
heard that was pretty cool.
Yeah, especially they have a Castlevania expansion that a lot of people love. A lot of
Okay.
people love.
So I might
But
maybe I'll look into that too.
yeah, those are good. They kind of Dead Cells kind of has a roguelike vibe to it as well. So I'm like where you kind of can replay the same things with different skills, different builds and such, and you're trying to
Mm.
like yeah. So I'm like, if you love those type of games, you might
It's
like
up
that
there
one as
then.
well.
Yeah, okay, that sounds dope.
Yeah,
So all
yes.
that for me. What about you?
Oh man, it's the quiet before the storm. If I'm being honest, it's like I'm playing a little bit of like stuff that I kind of am trying to wrap up or trying to like put a nice bow on. Probably not coming back to
Mm-hmm.
from like games in 2023. So I'm like I played Final Fantasy 16 and beat it and didn't necessarily love it. I'm like it was very
Mm-hmm.
lukewarm. I It's crazy because like PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox all had like exclusives that I felt like very mid about. Like I didn't. I know a lot of people give me crap about it, but I don't like Tears of the Kingdom. It's just not like everything that I like about an action game, Tears of the Kingdom feels basic about. Everything I like about a puzzle game, Tears of the Kingdom feels like it's not my quite my puzzle game.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then everything I'm like the critique in me is like all these critiques are talking about like, hey, like we're gonna take off points on Saints Row because like that open world is empty, and I can't turn that brain off when I look at Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm like, okay, there's interesting things here, but it's also like there's a lot of emptiness in between those empty things,
No,
and I
it's
can't
true.
and I can't turn that brain off, you know?
Yeah, like to me, it just felt like a really like expansive expansion pack.
Yeah, I can get
Like
that.
that, you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like it was anything so crazy different.
Yeah, I get that. So it's like, so I have that 6 out of 10 vibe for Tears of the Kingdom, and then I feel the same way about like Starfield. It was very 6 out of 10 ish to me because
Hmm.
like I was waiting for something special from a Bethesda game that was hyped up for the last 13 years, and I got a Bethesda game that felt like it came out 13 years ago.
And
You
you know
know?
what's bad about that? I feel like if they ever release Elder Scrolls 6, the hype won't be there
Oh
because of
man.
this.
If that's the case, then they've done some damage to their studio. But yeah, and we'll talk about that in a little bit because I have some questions to ask you about like
Hmm.
games that are coming out soon. But yeah, it is interesting because Final Fantasy 16 felt a lot like that to where I was playing it. I loved some aspects of it. I loved the spectacle. I just didn't fall in love with any character in there. Everyone kind of
Hmm.
felt like sameish, and then the story felt a little sameish. The story felt like, oh, this beginning felt strong, then the middle felt like it was chugging along. I swear, man, the middle part of the game is about 30 hours, depending on who how you play
Oh
it,
wow.
and it felt like 80 hours. Like
My God, like a grind, bro.
it felt like a grind. It's like because I didn't have any connection to any of the characters, I didn't really care what happened to them. And since I didn't care what happened to them, when you're skipping ahead 3 times in the story of like you have multiple time skips, I don't necessarily care what happens in between each time skip. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm like, man, it felt like it was 3 big packed games that felt like they were all sort of rushed and inconsequential in a way. It's like they were like the beginning sets everything up really nicely for the end. And everything in between that had pacing issues for me. So I'm like, I played Final Fantasy 16, didn't love it at all. And then I played went back to Cyberpunk a little bit.
Hmm.
Love that Phantom
Well,
Liberty
I heard that
expansion.
the DLC is supposed to be amazing, supposedly.
It is phenomenal. Like the DLC and then the 2.0 expansion changes everything about the game. Like the cop system works better. Like like the way you can do drive-bys feels more GTA-ish than it did Cyberpunk-ish. Like,
Really?
oh, it is phenomenal, man. It's like it feels like GTA, but with like Cyberpunk, and this is what I imagined Bethesda would look like in 2023.
Hmm.
Like where like the combat feels good. The loads like Cyberpunk has load screens, but it doesn't load in between everything that you do. Like Cyberpunk and like Starfield loads in between every single action that you do.
Oh
It's
my
like
God, really?
if you dock your ship, there's a load screen for it. And it's like if you fast travel, there's a load screen for it.
Oh
If
God.
oh yeah, if you move in between, like say you're on a planet and there's like another subsection where you're trying to get to another level, like say you're trying to get from the top story to another story, there's a load screen in between that. It
That's
takes all
crazy.
the momentum out of it. Starfield does have some load screens, but everything it feels very free flowing in its open world to where I'm like when I see and encounter a load screen, it almost like it takes me by surprise again because I'm like, oh, I haven't seen one of those in a while. Like, yeah, it's like it's one of those things to where I'm looking at. I played Starfield for like 20 minutes and didn't see a load screen. And then, like, when I do one of the main quests, there is a load screen in between the main quests because they're setting up a gigantic piece of the game that you are about to encounter in a building that you can't access without that loading screen. It feels like it's different. It's like
Yeah,
Starfield feels like, oh, there's a load screen just to breathe. And
that's crazy.
it's a momentum killer. And yeah, it's like so Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty feels like it's a breath of fresh air. It feels like this to be honest, if this was a game if this game came out as it is now, back when it originally launched, this would have been easily a Hall of Fame entry.
Yeah, you
Like,
see, that's then like when I played it when it came out, I only had some small issues.
mhm,
My biggest issue was I had that SSD
yeah,
thing, right? So apparently the game loaded onto that, not my actual PS5.
mhm,
So I was like, oh my God, I made a mistake because I was kind of having like weird glitchy issues,
yeah,
but I couldn't figure it out. And then when I figured it out and I transferred the whole game to the PS5, I had no problems with the game. Like like other people had like crashing issues and everything. Like I played the game. I mean, maybe I had like two crashes, nothing crazy though. Nothing killed my vibe about it.
mhm.
I was just upset because I just felt like it was kind of empty.
Oh yeah, they
So I
fixed
wouldn't,
that.
yeah, so I wouldn't mind trying it like the DLC and everything now because I did enjoy the game. I really did like it, especially my girl Pan Am.
Oh yeah,
I saved
yeah.
that for my platinum ending because I feel like that was for me the best ending for me.
Yeah, I understand. I
Yeah,
agree with that. She was, I think, the best
yeah.
character side character in the game. But then, like now, they added Idris Elba's character into it, which is
Mm,
like, and they've added some more kind of like characters that you can really connect with into the game. So I'm like, because of this is also like not just like slight DLC because they do have slight DLCs like with guns, cosmetics,
mhm.
everything in between. This is a whole expansion to where like they added a new part of the city, and that new part of the city there's espionage quests where
Oh
you're playing
wow.
like a spy now, and you're like those quests are really cool. There's a really cool playing sequence. There's everything. It's like it feels like it's high level AAA budget.
Yeah,
And
you see, I would go definitely go back to this now.
oh yeah, but so like they give you an option too when you first start. When you first started again, if you want to like restart the game, or if you want to just start your character directly into the Phantom Liberty portion of the game,
Hmm.
it can go either way. If you haven't played in a while, it's almost because there is a whole new ending of the game that is like if you do the Phantom Liberty part and then you do the main quest, there's a whole new ending of the game. So I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
oh, it feels like
Oh,
that's what
that's
I'm
cool,
saying.
man.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like a breath of fresh air for everything Cyberpunk. So I'm like, I would just advise to just restart the game over, new character, and then have that character do whatever you want in the vein of like playing that in addition to these Phantom Liberty expansion with like your new spy gear and all that kind of stuff, and see
Okay,
how,
that's cool.
yeah, see what kind of character you want to be after that. Because like, and for me, when I first started playing, and I was just like, the build that I had in mind, the almost the badassness of like the way my character in my head, the way I envisioned them, felt very different than the character that I wanted to be in Phantom Liberty. You know,
Hmm.
so I'm like, man, I should have just started all the way over. And then when I did, I had a phenomenal time with the game.
That's it's almost like, and it's been so long. If you did start over, it's almost like a whatever you remembered. It will be like a brand new experience anyway.
Oh yeah, especially like I said with like the new game, like with the new cybernetics and such that they've added in there, because they've added new cybernetic stuff with the new like the game drives differently as far as like the way you can drive your cars, the way you can do drive shootouts and such like that, the way enemies will try to shoot out your car now. I'm
Oh,
like,
really?
oh my goodness, like I I don't want to stop you from playing Spider-Man 2 because like I do think you should probably play Spider-Man 2 sooner than later, but like
Hmm.
if you
This is
did just,
here.
yeah, I was just like, if you
Yeah,
did just decide, hey man, I need an open world that kind of had a little bit more like adult centric, like very specific storylines to it, I'd say like you should probably be playing
all right,
Cyberpunk
there we
right now.
go. I guess that's it.
Yeah,
It didn't take too
like
much to push.
nah, I'm like, if you've been missing that kind of like, almost like that kind of like humor, that kind of writing, that kind of world to where like everything kind of has that grittiness feel to it. I'm like, ooh, Cyberpunk kind of scratches all that.
That's amazing, man. All right,
Yeah,
sounds
yes.
good.
So I'm like, I've been playing that. I've really been getting a hankering to get back into Baldur's Gate though. Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, I've played that one, and even after completion, it feels like I barely scratched the surface of that. Like
That's
if
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, even I'm telling you, because each
I have the
act.
trial. Didn't
Okay.
play the trial yet, but I'm interested to do it. But I feel my biggest issue is that even though it might be different gameplay from what I'm used to, I feel if I start it, it's over until it's
Oh,
done.
I can see that. I can see it. Do
You know
you
what I
like
mean? And
turn-based
that's
stuff?
not really at all.
Okay.
No, but I feel like this might get me to change my mind. I heard so many good things about it, so I'm curious to see the gameplay. So I said, let me get another trial. It's free. I downloaded it, so I figure if I get a chance to play this weekend, I'll try it out, and that'll make or break it for me. You know?
Yeah, I think you're also like a really good multiplayer guy to where like if you also can like connect with a friend, whether it be your pops or whether it be like with some friends of yours, I'm
Hmm.
like that kind of changes a game from like an
Oh,
eight
it's
out of ten
co-op.
to a 10. Yeah, like you can play this game with people and
Oh, I
like
didn't know it was co-op.
oh my goodness, like it
Oh,
changes.
wow.
Yeah, and then like they can play with their kind of with like their specific character. You can play with yours, and then like the rolling mechanic of like you rolling the dice and y'all kind of having fun on who like what numbers are gonna pop up on whether like whether or not your friend or your or whoever you play with is gonna revive you. You know, like there's so many things to play with.
Get out of here.
Oh
Oh, I did
man.
not know. I thought it was a solo player experience, bro.
Oh no, like a lot of people actually like played this with like their significant others or like their friends and had like the time of their lives with this thing.
Oh, that's okay. So then that also changes things now too, because I thought it was like a solo thing.
No, it is like one of those things you can play solo and get everything out of it that you want to, but then like this is a full D&D experience. You can play this like a D&D tabletop game just with controllers with
That is
friends.
so
So,
amazing, bro.
yeah, and man,
Wow.
it's
Because I was
deep.
looking at what's the other? I think it's Path of Exile
Path of
2.
Exile is different, yeah.
So I've been following that because that's supposed to be like better than Diablo apparently. So
Yeah.
it's supposed to come out I guess sometime this year. So we were looking into that as our next game. But if this is co-op, I'll tell him to get the trial too, and then we'll try it out.
I think
Like
you
he could try
should.
it on his, I'll try mine, and we'll see.
Yeah, I think you should. Like, it's one of those things to do not be like afraid of guides because like it is so deep. You cannot possibly on your first playthrough get through everything there is to see in the game because I'm like killing one person, one specific person in the game, just random NPC can change like what happens 80 hours later. Like a
That's
random
incredible, bro.
NPC. Yeah, it is absolutely insane. You can talk to any animal if you have a certain skill for it, and that animal can warn you about things to come. I'm like,
Okay, that's wild.
I kid you not. Like, I kid you not. It is so insane how deep and layered that game is. I cannot tell you how thoughtful and thought provoking this game is. It's like I when I look at back at 2023, I can make the argument for one game being a Hall of Fame type of game, another game being a Hall of Fame type of game because that's the type of year we had. But then I'm
Hmm.
like, then I also think to myself, I'm like, if I only had to choose one game that would enter into a Hall of Fame, because like just like soccer, just like or football, if you're or overseas listeners, like just like that, you had kind of like sports. They're very selective on who gets in the Hall of
They
Fame. Not
really are.
not not everybody gets in. And if I'm doing that from that critique, there, I'm like, I'd probably put Baldur's Gate over Spider Man. I'd probably put it over Alan Wake. You know, like I think there's only two possible Hall of Fame contenders based on public reception, based on like critical acclaim, and that would probably be either Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate 3, and you see which one's winning a lot of the awards right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
both the public and the what you call it, the professional,
The critics,
the critics,
critical
they can't
acclaim,
all
yeah.
be wrong. Like when they usually sync up,
Mhm.
something's working. You know what I mean?
If it's a special experience, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those things to where I'm like, this game's got the juice, but again, it's not for everybody. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you played the trial and you were like, I love the concept. If this was a Diablo style game as opposed to a turn-based style game, this would probably be like my favorite game ever, but this is not for me. Like, if you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
that, I'd be like, hey man, it is what it is. I get that completely because
Hmm.
this that turn-based thing is a hard thing for a lot of people to get over.
It is. I've only played turn-based on the original Final Fantasy.
Hmm.
I remember doing Paper Mario, not Paper
Okay.
Mario, Super Mario RPG,
Yeah.
which I thought was hilarious. Um, and like two other games I did it with, but I'm just like, I just
Final
felt
Fantasy
like it was
7, maybe?
just no, I never played Final Fantasy 7.
Okay. Neither have I. Okay.
Yeah, I never played it. No, it was something else. And then I remember like a stupid game called Costume Quest. It was a free
Oh,
game a
yeah.
long time ago. But I'm like, it's Halloween theme. It's cute. Whatever. I'm play it. 'Cause I was playing like Arkham City, pulling my hair out, trying to do the last challenge for like top of the world, which was I don't all the things I did in that game.
Hmm.
That top of the world challenge, I just felt like a complete idiot. Like I didn't feel like I was Batman at all. Kept getting caught. Kept getting seen. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I mean, it took me
It
a
broke
long
you.
time to figure it out. And then once you did it, I'm like, oh my god! All I had to do was go left first. I mean, what the hell was I doing? No, it was super challenging. But then when I was getting frustrated, I played Costume Quest. I thought again, but it was an easy, cute game.
Hmm.
Nothing to listen, attack, defend, heal. It wasn't like crazy, crazy.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
sure this will have a lot more detail
Yeah, oh
on
yeah,
your
for
turn.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. And I'm like, if you're a person who needs a little more action, because I don't know how you play in Diablo, or if you're a
Hmm.
barbarian, or what class you are, but like if you're an action centric person, maybe play a ranger, maybe play something of like an attack based like class, because
Yeah, I did a rogue in Diablo.
okay, so I'm like, maybe you should not be a rogue in this, because a rogue in this is a very different thing. It's like
Okay, yeah.
very different thing. But like a rogue, wizard, a sorcerer, because like I've seen builds where people made exactly like a Harry Potter build in this game. And
That's
it's
wild.
oh, it's cool, but it's so cool because I'm like in Baldur's Gate, there's the difference between being a wizard and being a sorcerer. There's like and those builds play entirely different. That you like they can use some of the same spells, but a wizard can use every spell imaginable. But they're of weaker sauce. But like a sorcerer can only use select spells and area spells. Like they can really hammer those things in. So I'm like, if you see like four barrels around an area, you can like set every single one of those barrels of fire, or like using like a area fire spell, and then like, or maybe you have like one barrel that you see, you can use what they call a hand spell, and you can pick up that barrel and throw it on an enemy. And if that enemy is like has a fire sword in his hand, he set himself on fire.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
it's only the limits of your imagination is what Baldur's
Is what
Gate
stop?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm like, if it's one of those. So I'm like, if you like that fantasy, sci-fi, or fantasy kind of vibe, you should probably check it out.
Because I don't know why I bought it, but I bought the original Baldur's Gate on the PC a
Oh,
long,
very
long time
different.
ago,
Yeah.
and then I never actually played them. I think it's still wrapped, which I think Elliot would appreciate if I could find it.
Okay.
But I had what Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 on the PS2,
Hmm.
so I thought like, oh, it'll be like that. That's what I was expecting, and that's what took me off the whole. Oh, I'm not playing this game with the
No.
turn based. That's why I didn't do the X-Men. What was it? Sons of something.
Oh, you're talking about recently, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just maybe like last year it came out.
Um, dang it, what was that game?
Let me
It's
see.
been on PC forever.
X Men.
Because it's Marvel. It's
Yep.
Marvel.
Oh, it's Marvel. It's Marvel's
Yeah.
something.
Midnight Suns.
Midnight. That's
Midnight
that's it.
Suns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what took me off that game. I'm like, oh god, it's turn based. I'm out. But apparently, I heard good things about it. Like decent things. It wasn't the worst game, but it wasn't the best game. But it was. You had fun with it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you like video games, podcasts, and reminiscing? I'm actor, video game writer, and total sweetie pie Connor Savage McCabe, and on each episode of Call Me By Your Game, I sit down with a guest for an intimate look at a special game from their past. Did you and your dad beat Spyro the Dragon over the holidays? Or was Halo 4 the one thing that united your roommates during your senior year of college? Stories like these are what Call Me By Your Game is about. From video game content creator Janet Garcia to Hades voice actor Courtney Vinay's, I interview wonderful comedians and game industry friends about these memories. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe someday you'll call me by your game.
Yeah, from what I hear, I didn't even play it, but I'm a huge Marvel fan, but like at that time, I didn't like XCOM, and I'm a big turn-based person,
Mm-hmm.
but like that's grid-based turn-based. So I'm like that felt so different for me at that time, and I was just like, I have so many games I could be playing. I can't get to this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's one of
So
those.
Baldur's Gate turn-based and Midnight Suns, it's totally different turn-based.
Not totally different, but there are a lot of differences. Like
Okay.
it, Midnight Suns has a grid-like style to it, but then so does Baldur's Gate. But Baldur's Gate has a lot more flexibility. Like
All right.
Midnight Suns, from my understanding, you can't avoid combat. And this, like, you can make someone so smooth in like their persuasion in that sort of thing to where you can avoid a lot of combat sequences in this game. I'm like, you can make a bard who's so smooth that he can raise all the effects of his allies and opponents to where like you can end moves in like one. You can end all the opponents on the board in one move or
That's
a couple of
incredible.
moves. It's like it's that good of like it's that thought provoking. It's that like man, it's that strategic. But then again, if you just want to goof around and make like I don't know, like some Pirates of the Caribbean themed characters, you can do that too.
I can't believe you could do all that.
I'm like, you can do that too. I'm like, the whole premise is that aliens are around you, basically in a fantasy world.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens. I'm like, I've never heard that concept of like,
Me neither, bro. That took
no,
me out right now.
I'm like, I never heard of aliens being involved in like a fantasy type setting, but I'm like, you're fighting. There's aliens fighting dragons who are like, and you're basically trying to get something out of get something out of you that is an alien object, and that's how the whole game starts. And you're just
Wow.
like, yeah, and along the way you meet these characters, and each one of these characters. Have you played Dragon Age?
No.
Okay, so have you played Mass Effect?
No.
Okay, so none of the Bioware games. Oh, you played Knights of the Republic though.
I did, yeah.
Okay, so almost in a similar vein of Knights of the Republic, to where like some of the characters have their own side stories, and you can kind of help them out.
Mm-hmm.
And Baldur's Gate has that. Like all these characters have something going on with them, something wrong with them, something like also like something that is like this game is also very romance heavy in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of ways, to where like you could do a lot of crazy stuff in this game. A lot of crazy stuff.
That's hilarious. Because I remember when I played Witcher
Uh-huh.
and there was some side quests, like I didn't mind doing them because it felt like an actual quest rather than, oh, I forgot A, can you bring it to B or some other nonsense.
Yeah.
Like I felt like they were like the side quests were pretty well laid out. So I enjoy side quests like that. So if
Oh,
this game is like this, then that's also incredible too.
Witcher
It just
has
adds
some.
more to the fun.
Yeah, Witcher has some phenomenal side quests, but
Mm-hmm.
Baldur's Gate is like you also have those side quests, but then you're also like, man, I think this bear is giving me goo goo eyes right now. Like, is this about to happen? Like that sort of thing.
Oh
Like,
my god, that's crazy.
man, it's amazing, absolutely amazing how deep things can be, but it also can be as PG as you want to make it. But it
Yeah,
is,
that's true too. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh man,
but
that's wild.
yeah, it is. It's crazy. But anyways, yeah, I want to ask you, since
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about the things we've been playing. We're now in a new year. Happy New Year, everybody who's listening. But we're now in a new year, 2024. I want to ask you, what games are you looking forward to playing in this new year? What's the Bobby games coming
But you
out
know
this year?
what's crazy is that I don't know a lot of them because I really don't look at like the news. That's why sometimes on the show I get actually surprised
Uh-huh.
when I hear things are coming out because I had no idea that this was even in the works. So some of my reactions are like legit. I'm like, oh my god, it's coming out. So I don't know exactly. So I know I was following the Lollipop Chainsaw
Okay.
kind of remix. So that looked interesting. Skull and Bones. Look, I mean, I probably won't play it, but it looked interesting because I I was hearing about a lot of it. Um, like Alone in the Dark is on my wish list. It already dropped some prices on there.
Mhm.
I saw Princess Peach Showtime.
Yeah,
My
that
wife loves the Mario, she loves all that stuff. So I figured, all right, that's interesting. Maybe I'll get that for her. Um, but I don't really exactly know everything coming out, so
oh,
it'd be more like I have nothing in my mind right now, really.
okay. So when how do you find the games that you feel like, oh, this is what I'm gonna be playing for the next like 3 years
I
or three
mean,
3 months?
like usually, like the Souls games or that
Okay.
kind of style games. I think because Google, like I Google stuff like that, so I get like a lot of Google suggestions, like oh, this similar because you like this and this and this. So like when I go to my like Google News, I'll see some of these things pop up, and that's when
Okay.
I get to figure out. Or somebody will tell me, my friend will tell me this is coming out or whatever. Like I just found out, like I didn't even know that Mickey Mouse
Public
lost his
domain.
public domain, and within 30 seconds, two of my friends text me a movie trailer and a horror game based off Steamboat Willie Mickey.
Well, the crazy thing is like the horror game has been in the works for a while, but like and that's not technically Mickey Mouse, like, but it's like they're kind of that game because it's like a shooting mouse game that's black and white as well. Is kind
Mm-hmm.
of capitalizing on that news.
100%. Definitely
Yeah.
trying to use the whole like I wouldn't say like the inky bendy whatever the game is called,
Hmm.
but definitely using that black and white style of the old 28 version of of Mickey Mouse.
If anything, I would almost say is like that's more attributed to Cuphead than it is like the Mickey Mouse news because like
Yes, yes.
they've been trying to make this game for I think 3 years now.
See, I had no idea, bro.
Yeah, so I'm like, I think Cuphead has like really ushered in that wave of like, oh, we want to do those old school style like cartoon type of vibes.
Yeah. No, it looked I mean it looked trailer looked cool, but apparently even today I watched the trailer today. It was called like Infestation or something, 88.
Hmm.
But apparently you can't that's bad. So they had to change the name to something else now because it was like super neo-Nazi apparently.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
terrible.
so they had to change the name. I mean, they didn't know, but they were like called out upon it. So
Yeah,
they sent like an apology text and tweet. Again, Google, just from regular Google today. I was like, oh wow, they had to change the name of the game already because of this and that. I mean, I guess if you don't know, how would you know? You know what
no,
I
for
mean?
sure.
So, but at least they changed it, right away, which was good. Um, and then I think Hades 2 from memory now.
Oh man, you talking about a game that I'm excited
Yeah,
for.
no, I loved Hades. Like, I think it was RGT talked about it
Hmm.
to me. So the Greek mythology, the fast action. I saw gameplay trailer, and I'm like, I'm buying it immediately. It was just as soon as I heard about it, it was download. I thought the game was amazing, bro.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
I thought it was amazing. So I'm really looking forward to the sequel.
It is when we get to starting to nominate games for the UCP Hall of Fame. That's probably going to be my first nomination. Is Hades?
Hades.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would totally second that somehow.
Okay.
That
Good.
was unbelievable.
We're gonna have to get that system going. I think like when we have one of us on or something like that, we'll say like I want to nominate this game, and if it gets seconded, it goes to a vote between the four of us.
I thought, yeah, why not? That's great.
I think and then the
Yeah, we start
majority
something
pass.
now. No, it's true because listen, like I said, like from previous podcast listening, we all play totally different style of
Hmm.
games, which was like it's unique. But then sometimes, like, listen, we're all playing this game for a reason.
Yeah, it's got that juice.
Maybe it is that good.
Yeah,
You know,
it's got the juice. And I think like, this is inside baseball for all the listeners. I'm like the four of us, if like some of us need time to like debate like marinate it or something like that on like a game that's been nominated, we can take like a week or two.
mm-hmm.
Let the other people who haven't played it actually get a chance to experience it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, and
no, that's smart.
then go from there. But yeah, it's that one is like, ooh, that one is probably one of those that I'm like, if that one didn't get in the Hall of Fame, I'm like, what are we doing, brothers?
Yeah, no, I'd be upset. I'd be upset. I just thought everything about the game was great. Like, what was bad about it?
I can't think of anything.
Like, I just enjoyed it, and it was always like, all right, it's getting late, but one more run. one more run. It's like an addiction
So
now. It's
good.
like even if you did really bad, your next one could be great, and then if you did great, it could be even better. So you never knew what you were going to expect, which I thought was perfect.
So good. It's not
Yeah.
quite to the level of Hades, but I felt that same way about David the Diver this year.
Oh
To
yeah,
where,
yeah. I remember you spoke about that. Yep, yep.
oh, so good. It's good. It's funny. It's got some like, it's easy to pick up and play, and especially on that Steam Deck, you can just pick that thing up, play it on the couch, chill out for like an hour or maybe even
Yeah. See,
15 minutes and go
I'm
about
thinking
your
about getting
business.
that thing too, bro.
Oh,
Still debating it
it's so good. It's so good.
because then that'll just open up another games of I've never even heard of that will be on the Steam Deck. That'll be like, wow, like let's download this bad boy right now.
Oh man, even crazier is like if you have an Epic account, Epic gives out free games every week. It's like,
That is
and
so
then
crazy to me.
oh, they give out free games every week, and they're like premier games. It's not even like
Because the Steam Deck
small.
is basically like a handheld PC in a
Oh,
way.
it is.
So
It
like PC
is.
Master Race all around.
Yeah. So I'm like,
A
it's
lot
a
of console games like myself, like I have PS5 because it's just easy for me. I get
mhm.
it. I don't have all this updating on my computer. But really, you miss out on so many games that will never come to a console, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
and it's been good. It's been really good. So I'm like, Epic. So Epic at the end of the year, they always give away like a list of games. It's almost like they're 12 games leading up to Christmas that they just give out for free.
Wow.
And such like that. So I'm like, they this year they didn't do like 12 games. I think it might have been. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So they raised the ante to 14 games. They started at December the 20th and they did DNF Duel. Never heard of it, but I'm like, it got good reviews. Melvor Idol, then Art of the Rally, which is like a really cool indie racing game. Then they did Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition, and that's when we start the ramp up. Ghostwire Tokyo, they gave out for free. They gave out The Outer Worlds. Do you remember that one?
Yep, yep.
Human Resource Machine, which George would probably love. It's basically a human resource simulator, basically, where you're trying to like manage your employees and such like that.
Oh my god, bro. That's hilarious.
Curse to Golf, which is kind of like a golf, almost like a roguelike golf game.
Mm-hmm.
Cat Quest, which is
Yes. I
yeah,
thought amazing.
they gave out Cat Quest, Snake Bird Complete. Then they gave out the Saints Row game that came out like not too long ago.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, they gave out the Saints Row game. They gave out Ghost Runner, which is a really cool like platformer almost like super hot kind of vibe there. Then you have Escape Academy, and then 20 Minutes Till Dawn is another one that the game like they just gave out. And then they do this every single week. 20 Minutes to Dawn is a roguelike shoot 'em up game, by the way. Very much in that it's almost like in that Diablo style as well. It's Hades meets Diablo, but in a roguelike shooter.
Wow.
So I'm
That's
like,
incredible. So every week you get a free game.
every week you get
And
free
signing up
games.
is free.
Signing up is free. All you
I
have
mean,
to
who's
do is
beating that, bro?
have an Epic account.
No,
And
that is incredible.
then I know we talked about this, like me and you have talked about this on the show. You can also connect to your Xbox. You can also connect to your
Yeah,
PlayStation.
yeah.
So I'm like, it's the PlayStation Portable, but you can
It
also play
is.
your PC games.
And you know what's more crazy about this whole thing? Like the Steam Deck technology is obviously there because there's obviously a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So like technically you could just make like a PlayStation or an Xbox or a Nintendo Switch version just like
Oh,
this.
easily. Oh, easily. And this is why for me, I'm like, if like this is a good topic by the way, because if the Switch 2 comes out and it's not to the level of the Steam Deck or the Steam Deck OLED, I'm not buying that thing this
Yeah,
time
what are you
around.
doing then? Like what is the plan? Like
I'm
I don't get it.
It has to be to that level. I'm talking about like load times can't be worse. And like I get it, you're not going to do an OLED screen your first iteration of your second console. I can excuse that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, if there's bad load times and if AAA games are play worse on that than they do on any other console in the market, because I'm like, I'm gonna be honest. Like when I heard the reports that the Switch 2 was going to have the same power processor as a PS4 on the high end, I was just like, that seems iffy to me.
Yeah,
Like
no, it's crazy. Like the technology's there, bro.
I'm like
So you could do it.
I at least need that thing to be PS4 Pro at the
Yeah,
minimum,
at least.
at least. And
But can you just imagine if they just did the simplified version of a Steam Deck?
oh man,
Just for, I mean, it'll that's already going to be better than Nintendo 2, a Switch 2, apparently, whatever they're talking about.
oh yeah, I'm like, I just want the thing should be a Steam Deck minus Steam, basically.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
should all
basically, yeah.
yeah, because I'm like the Nintendo store has a lot of indies on it, and then also like has some AAA games. But let's be honest, like most AAA games always play worse on the Switch. You're
Hmm.
not playing Hitman or
No,
Kingdom
you're not.
Hearts or any of those other games. Red Dead Redemption, I know George talked about it. I'm like, you asked 9 out of 10 people. Besides the portability option, do you rather play that thing on the Switch or on any other console? They're choosing any other
Could you
console.
play Red Dead Redemption on the Steam Deck?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's got to run amazing.
No, Red Dead
It
Redemption
has to
2
look like a
runs
small
amazing.
TV, basically.
Oh yeah. And
Like yeah,
the crazy thing is Red Dead Redemption 1 runs good. Red Dead Redemption 2 runs amazing on this thing.
that's wild, bro.
And 2 is phenomenal. Like 2 is like a big beefy game.
And then I heard you could plug it to your TV.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the Switch. Everything the Switch can do, the Steam Deck can
So
do.
it's almost like if you're confused about buying a system and you don't really know what you want, and a Steam Deck could be like a portable and you can put on your TV, it's like you should get a Steam Deck, bro.
Yeah, and also like you can expand the memory on this thing. You can't do that on the Switch.
Nope.
Like
Yeah,
I
you
could,
could like, you put like a 2 TB card or something in that bad boy.
yeah, you can do any as long as like it fits the drive. You can do as high as you want to be.
That's
If
crazy.
they sell a 10 terabyte drive and it fits, you got a 10 terabyte Steam Deck.
That's insane.
As long as that thing fits, there's no cap to it.
Nah, that's amazing, bro.
And then on the other side of the fence, I'm like, okay, so like there's no cap to the storage. There's also like you can put an SD card in there. So like even if you don't feel comfortable popping that thing open and changing out a couple of screws and like adding a new hard drive, you can also just add a 2 terabyte SSD or not SSD, but um a 2 terabyte like micro SD card
Oh
and go
yeah,
about
yeah.
your business.
Hmm.
And go about your business. Like you can do that, or if you don't feel like if you feel like you don't like the look of it, you can swap out the whole shell of the Steam Deck and make it look completely different. Like, yeah, you can make that thing look completely different. They also make it to where like you can change out if you don't like the way like the pads feel, you can change those out. Anything you can do on a PC, you can do
So
on the
this is
Steam Deck.
legitimately like the best handheld ever created.
Up to date, I would probably say it is. Like I know like there's some nostalgia of like older handhelds and what they had to offer as far as their catalog goes.
Yeah.
The reason why I would give the edge to the Steam Deck is emulation. That
Hmm.
Steam Deck can emulate DS games. It can emulate Game Boy Advance,
Yeah, because there
Game Boy
was
Color.
I think it's pronounced the Abernac or something like that. The
Abernac.
Abernac. It's like another handheld. I saw a bunch of this because again,
Oh yeah, yeah, gotcha.
like they're trying to sell this like the ultimate thing, but
Mhm.
apparently you can't do like bigger games, but you can emulate anything from like PS2 down. But then I'm
Yeah,
like, I clicked the guy's link and I clicked all the links. I even went to the website. They're selling it for almost the same price as a Steam Deck, and I'm like, wait a minute, why would you even consider this when you could do that same thing on a Steam Deck plus anything that came out today,
yeah. You can
which is
also
incredible to me.
Yeah, you can also do things that came out on GameCube, things that came out on the Wii. You can do things that came out on the Switch, even though like some of it is a little bit like some of it plays well, some of it doesn't. Your mileage may vary on the Switch
Yeah, yeah.
games, but I'm like Tears of the Kingdom runs at 60 FPS on the Steam Deck. It doesn't run. It runs 30 FPS on that Switch. It's capped at 30.
How could you play the Switch game on this?
I'd have to give you a whole explanation about
Oh,
that.
okay,
A
okay, but
whole
still,
little explanation.
that's still
about that.
incredible though.
Yeah. But I'm like
Wow.
the fact that it's proven that you can do it and it runs at 60 FPS is insane.
Bro, technology is amazing,
Stupidly
bro.
insane. Yeah. Yeah.
Technology is amazing, man.
Yeah. And it's getting better too, because I'm like, the Switch just had its second iteration. Like, that Switch OLED is better than my baseline Switch now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just because it has an OLED screen, it's because like it has more battery capacity as well. And it's the same exact price. They didn't like on the Switch, when they announced the OLED model, they had a price increase.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, the OLED Switch, there's a little bit of a price increase depending on your region, but in some regions it's the exact same price as like the 512 model.
Yeah, it's Steam Deck's like 600, right?
The
Something like that.
600 was the high end one,
Yeah, the
the
high
highest
end. Yeah,
end one.
yeah,
Yeah, the highest end. So I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, it's amazing. It really is. I'm like, and it also has quick resume, just like Xbox.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's another thing that won me over. I'm like, if you want to like
So
have
just rest mode it.
yeah, if you want to have two games running at the same time, you can do that. Like, you can have two games running and then you can switch back between. I like to give you an example. I was playing NBA Street on this thing, and then I bounced back. I bounced from NBA Street and I started playing Deathloop on it.
That's
And
crazy. That's crazy.
and then I bounced, and just for giggles, I bounced right back to Street, right back to where I left off when I paused the game.
And like seamlessly.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
like, besides the fact that it was like Switch, like NBA Street doesn't necessarily run the greatest in 2023 as far as like what you consider a game to
Yeah,
run
yeah.
like in that category. It didn't age well, but like, yeah, it runs well. I'm like,
That's beautiful.
everything I can think of plays well. I'm like, you want to play a PS1 through PS3 game, like PS3, depending on like how well it aged, may like your mileage may vary, but that was 1 and 2 games play phenomenally well. I haven't seen a bad playing one or PS1 or PS2 game on that thing yet.
Wow. And that library is so expansive, bro. It's play for hours on end, really.
Oh, for sure, for sure, and it's getting more. It's getting more so expansive. Like,
Eventually, you'll be able to just play PS4 games and everything on that thing too.
well, I mean, a lot of some of the PS library is on Steam now. So I'm
Hmm.
like, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is already there.
Get
The
out of
Uncharted,
here!
yeah, the Uncharted games now are on PC, and then Returnal is already on PC. So I'm like,
That's crazy. I feel like the most surprised gamer.
yeah.
I really never know what's going on, bro. Which
I'm
is
like,
crazy.
God of War is on Steam now. So I'm like, you can play God of War 2018 on that bad boy.
Wow.
The Spider-Man, Miles Morales and Spider-Man are on that bad boy. So I'm like, it's almost to the point, if you wait long enough, like all the PlayStation exclusive games
We'll
are
eventually
coming
be
on
on there.
PC.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can play them on your Steam Deck without having to basically be a PlayStation portable option.
Yep.
But yeah.
Or just get a computer, because a lot of people, they get nervous with the PC
Yeah.
because you have to do the graphics card and this. Yeah, and I guess it could get expensive because the gaming PCs could be, well, they are a lot of money to upkeep and everything.
Mhm.
But I mean, for a handheld, it's right there,
Yeah, this is a lot cheaper option than that. I'm like,
and you could just dock it, which is even better.
yeah, it's interesting because I'm like, you can dock it if you want to. You can also use it as a little computer because it has a mode to where like it has a what they call game mode, like handheld mode, and then it
Hmm.
also has like a mode to where you can basically use it like this, like a PC mode.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
incredible, bro.
and then you
I
can
think it
just
looks beautiful too. Let me tell you something.
yeah. So I'm like, for the audio listeners, I was showing them what it looks
Yeah,
like.
it's clean looking, man.
Yeah.
Really nice.
So right now, I just clicked return to game mode. It's also touchscreen, just like just like the Switch and such like that. So it takes a second, and then it like it basically, if you did any changes on your desktop mode, it like basically moves those over into a game mode. If you added any emulators, it also does that. But I'm like, you can also do custom boot ups. So I'm like,
Look at this. That is amazing.
So I'm like, that's like one of my boot ups for the Steam Deck is for the audio listeners, it's like I did a custom one to where like instead of the regular Steam Deck boot up menu or boot up like animation, I had it to where it was the old school Disney animation with the castle.
Yeah, that was so cool to see that.
Yeah,
Oh my god, you can do anything with this thing, man.
yeah, and instead of Disney, it basically said Steam Deck. It's like it is so versatile.
In the fancy Disney font, which is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, you can record your gameplay with this as well. So I'm like, it's anything you can dream of. Like people are making like widgets for it. People are making animations for it. Cyberpunk runs well on this. It doesn't look as good as it does on Xbox Series S, like S and X or PS5, but it runs well on it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have a Raspberry Pi 3,
Mhm.
but all emulated games. So my startup screen is like the Marvel with all the comics passing through.
Oh, that's cool.
But instead of comics, it's all the video game characters.
That's
And it
cool.
passes and it says like Retro Pi. That's pretty
Oh,
cool. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool.
And
I
like the setting, like all the games, if you go to the Nintendo section
Mhm.
and then you drop down, it's like a comic book. Like a
Oh,
page. So it has all the games and the artwork and it's pretty cool. I love it. I think it's pretty cool. But that was dope too, man.
that is insane. I love that one. I
Yeah.
love that. Man, I
I
got you.
have a small little fake Sega Genesis looking cartridge style, not cartridge, the Sega Genesis system case for it. So it looks pretty cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, if I go to a hotel, we go on vacation. I'm always up early. I just put that like in like a little bag, bam, on the go.
Oh,
Well,
and
not
take
on
it
the
with
go,
you.
but like if I'm home and everyone's that passed out, I have something to do on vacation before everybody
Okay.
gets up.
That's really cool. And so I gotta ask. We talked about games you're looking forward to. You say you don't have anything on your radar. I'm gonna read out a
Hmm.
couple, and then read out a couple for the like of what we know,
Okay.
and then you can kind of tell me if you're hot, cold, or if anything kind of stands out to you.
All right.
So in January we have this is just a high level game, so I'm not gonna go through all the games because with indies it'd take years. The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. We have Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is the
Hmm.
sequel to Yakuza Like a Dragon. We have Tekken 8, Rugby 24, and Prince of Persia The Lost Crown. Any of those in January standing out for you?
I mean, I'd probably get Last of Us remastered, but wait for a sale.
Oh, I'm the same
I
way.
mean, it just came out. Like, I don't think I need to get that again.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
You know, like I could wait.
Yeah. In February, moving on, we have Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. We have Persona 3 Reloaded, which is the Persona 3 remake. We also have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Hell Divers 2, um, Mario versus Donkey Kong coming out for the Switch, Skull and Bones, and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Any of those standing out to you?
Probably only Suicide Squad because if it's co-op, my brother did Gotham Knights, and we had a good time just making fun of it. So, like, listen, we had a good time playing it, but also it was goofy. So we had fun together. This might be similar, which I think it's going to be very similar. And then my Mario and Donkey Kong because that's
Okay.
just something me and my wife might play if it's I don't know co-op or whatever it is.
I never played the original Mario versus Donkey Kong, so I have no idea. I have
Yeah,
no idea.
if it's like a remake of the original Mario, that'd be
Mhm.
wild.
I know it's the remake of the original Mario versus Donkey Kong, but I don't know how much like of the original Mario isms it's gonna have in
Okay,
it.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So maybe I'll
but
look at it first. But yeah, at least those two.
yeah, I think Mario versus Donkey Kong, and correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, was originally like a puzzle type game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's gonna be multiplayer components in this one. I'm not a Nintendo guy, everybody, so you already know. You already know.
I
That
already know
is
what's up.
that is not gonna be on my radar. I am looking forward to out of that list, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. It is a game I played in at a convention that I went to. Really fun. Looking forward to seeing how it like overall turns out. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League kind of breaks my heart a little bit just
Yeah, it
because like
does.
yeah, I want more Batman or single player focused content from that
Yeah.
studio, especially because of the like the Arkham games that they created.
Mm-hmm.
Love those. So
I wouldn't mind if they did like a Batman solo and then like a multiplayer type deal.
Mhm.
But like all you're doing is this now.
Yeah,
So where's Batman, bro?
the crazy thing is like I feel like WB's got several studios that can do Batman content. Like the studio, I can't remember their name, but like the studio that did Gotham Knights could be the multiplayer Batman studio.
Exactly, yeah, which is
And
fine.
yeah, and this studio could be that single player campaign studio that we've been getting for a long time. It doesn't even necessarily have to be Batman. I'm like, you can do anybody in the Bat family, or you can just do some other DC type
Yeah,
superheroes.
exactly. My only problem is that every time, like especially with like comic book fans, like I used to be huge, not I'm in it, but not really there.
Okay.
Like, okay, so let's just think about it logistically. You're gonna have just Harley Quinn, and who's in the game? The Shark
Yeah, Killer Shark,
and two other people. So
um,
explain to me how
Boomerang, and Captain Boomerang, Killer Shark, Harley Quinn, and
and Deadshot,
Deathstroke. Deathshot, thank you,
Deathstroke,
Deathstroke.
Deadshot, yeah.
Deadshot, yeah, yeah.
How are you supposed to take on one Batman, the
That's a very good
Flash,
question.
Wonder Woman, or Superman? They're all like
Gods.
it's impossible. So I want to see how this plays out. Taking out Batman will be difficult because he's a tactician and he's there's again it's just human beings versus human beings, and now Wonder Woman will just end the game. Good
Yeah.
luck tying her up, but good luck. I
Yeah,
want to see it.
it's weird too because like they
Like
have to
before
take.
you blink, the Flash took all four of you out and sat down and had a soda.
You're not lying.
So what's gonna happen, bro? Like,
You're
let's
not
see. I'm
lying.
curious. I'm so curious, bro.
Yeah, you're not
So
lying.
curious.
I'm so baffled on that, on how that game's gonna come to be, how it's gonna come together. Even then, I'm like, from everything that we've seen of the game, the audience response when we initially got that PlayStation showcase announcement for it like a year ago was
Hmm.
not great. Was
Yeah.
not great. It was like people got really upset when they saw that gameplay footage, and then next thing you know, the game got delayed a year.
Because they probably had to change half the stuff in it, bro.
Yeah, so
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god, that's
I'm
wild.
I'm not too high on my anticipation is not too high for it, but I'm hoping for the best just because if that here's the thing, I'm complicated. It's like if that studio succeeds with this, I hate it because I feel like WB then gets the leeway of saying or gets like justification and saying like, hey, let's make more transaction multiplayer games instead of like actually going back to the drawing board and saying like, "Hey, Hogwarts Legacy worked and it was a
Yes.
single player campaign experience. Let's double down on those." And it was the best-selling game of 2023.
Yep.
Yeah, so
And then what makes me more mad is that if you go back even further, you have the Shadow of Mordor games
good
with their
games.
Nemesis system. You patented that, bro.
Yeah, nobody else can even use
So
it.
where are they? Like, let's do something with that. With
I
any character that you have the rights to. I mean,
I know they announced that they said recently that they're going to use the Nemesis system in the new Wonder Woman game coming out.
yeah, that looks dope.
Yeah, but we haven't heard about it in almost 2
No,
years now.
that's true.
So,
But like,
yeah.
there was some kind of trailer I saw. I mean, it's just a trailer. It might not even be what the game looks like, but it did get me excited.
Yeah, yeah. I'm hopeful for it because I want more of that. David Zaslav, the new big head of WB Games and WB in general, said that recently in an interview that they were going to be doing every WB game in multiplayer from now on.
You see,
In multiplayer, and then they even said games as a service mentioned.
I wouldn't
So
mind if some things were co-op, play with your boys, something like that'd be fun.
yeah, you're a
But I'd
co-op
like,
guy,
yeah,
but
but like not like live service stuff. That's gonna, I don't know. To me, that's a turn off.
it is a very big turnoff for me, especially considering like I didn't love Hogwarts Legacy, but can you imagine what a Hogwarts Legacy live service game is going to look like?
No, I don't. That's
Yeah,
got me crazy.
yeah, but everyone, I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think that's going to be the big game that month of
Hmm.
February.
Yeah,
I,
definitely.
I would have to go back and actually play Final Fantasy VII a remaster or remake and actually get caught up before I dive into that. But moving on, March we have uh looks like a lot of horror games. Surprisingly, As Dusk Falls, the Trails, the Outlast Trials.
Yeah,
Um,
Outlast Trials look dope.
yeah. I'm too much of a chicken, but it looks really cool. Um, let's see, Rise of the Ronin looks like it's gonna be
Oh
your
yeah,
game.
that looks amazing. That's on
Yeah.
the wish list.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, that looks like
I
it's.
would definitely buy a physical, but like at least I'm aware that it'll tell me when it's close.
I'm a digital gamer now, but like, yeah, Team Ninja is the one who did Rise of the Rona, who's doing Rise of the Rona. They made the Neo games, and then they
Mm-hmm.
also made Wulong Fallen Dynasty from last year. Man, they were pumping games out. Wulong was just last year. Then let's see, another one. It looks like Dragon's Dogma 2
Yeah, I saw
is
that.
yeah.
My
Did
stepfather's looking forward to that.
you ever play the first one?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay, you might like the first one.
Yeah,
It's
I think
kind of
it's up there. I just haven't really like got into it, but I mean, I know I like it if I play it. It's
yeah.
right up my alley.
Just wait until the second one at this
Yeah,
rate.
yeah.
Yeah, and then Prince Peace Showtime is coming out in March,
Mm-hmm.
and then April doesn't look like there's anything super big on the horizon. I don't see anything super major. Then June we have a Destiny expansion. August Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list.
Yeah, you're a Souls guy, and
Yeah.
that one
I
looks
mean,
like it's gonna be
even the
fun.
Wulong Destiny game, I
Mhm.
have it. It's just it's still in plastic. I haven't even opened it.
Oh
Like
wow.
I'm ready for that too.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we got a lot of games without a actual announcement and like actual release date attached to it. So we're just kind of waiting to see how what these release dates go on and like actually get announced. But historically speaking, I believe Nintendo normally has a direct sometime in this month or next month,
Mm-hmm.
January or February, and then Xbox last year did a really cool micro showcase where they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush in January. So hopefully we get some of that more of that, so we can get some news from their side of the fence, and then PlayStation is probably going to be quiet for a little bit, sadly,
Yeah. Yeah,
especially
yeah.
after the Wolverine leak.
Yes, which is unfortunate, but it
Did you
happens,
check
bro.
in that gameplay out?
No, I didn't want to. I didn't want. I even when they did the X-Men Origins, like basically the
Hmm.
whole movie, without I didn't even look at that because it's gonna
Okay,
spoil everything for me.
yeah,
So
that
I
makes
tried to
sense.
avoid all types of stuff like that, bro. I don't even care. Like, what is the purpose of even watching that? But that might not even be the game, or they might even change stuff beyond that.
Uh, Okay, that
So
makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
I was I'm curious because I don't think I've heard your reaction to GTA 6. What'd you think of that trailer?
I mean, it was all right. It's just a trailer.
Hmm.
Like the thing is, after 4, I didn't even play 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just lost it. Like I don't know. I just seemed like they pushed so much on the multiplayer and pushed and pushed and pushed that I was like, I don't even care about 5 to
Okay.
even care about 6. Really, it does look interesting. I enjoyed the original, like like even the first 2 games I enjoyed. Then you had 3, Vice City, San Andreas. To me was peak.
Hmm.
I played 4 with my brother, but I just didn't really. It didn't connect to me for some reason. I just didn't really care about it. I watched
Okay.
him play it. It was okay. He was cool playing it, but I'm like, yeah, I'm happy I didn't get involved in this, which is sad. But I'm not saying I'm over it. Over it. If 6 looks dope, I'll play it. But I had no didn't care either way.
Okay. So George historically asked the Ray what is in your trunk
Hmm.
to allude to the video the like the movies that you just want to shout out and all that kind of stuff. We're gonna ask a little bit different question to the Ray today. Like Ray wants to know,
Hmm.
and this is the American Ray, so we say it in third person like he's the Rock Dwayne Johnson. The Ray wants to know. The Ray says, "What you gonna be watching coming up? A show or movie? What are you gonna be
Well,
watching?"
a few things. So I'm watching. Raising Kanan, which is
Oh
Power Book
yeah.
3.
Hmm.
I'm heavily invested into this show, right? Like Rock's my girl. Um,
Is this the only Power show you've
no, I
watched, or
watched all
you?
of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is the only one that's out now currently.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna go back to what you call it, book 2, with the Tariq.
Hmm.
So I think that's the next release, and then the Tommy, and then whatever. So yeah, this is out now, so I'm into that. I'm doing, well, not doing. I'm watching Jack Reacher.
So good.
This second season's
So
great so
good.
far, and I think that's it. That's all that's really out now. And then, to be honest, like I didn't really watch any more sitcom, like not sitcom, but like NBC, CBS kind of shows anymore.
Hmm.
So I just do Netflix and all that stuff. But my wife's a big fan of Mark Paul Gosselaar,
Okay.
so he's in this new show called Found.
I've
And
heard
I'm
good
like, all
things
right,
about that
I'll
one.
watch it. I mean, I expected to be corny because it's NBC,
Hmm.
but I'm like, you know what? This show is really good. So I have Peacock. So I watched it from on the Peacock app. It comes back sometime in January, but I'll tell you, man, it's interesting.
On the Peacock app, with Found, does it still have commercials?
Yeah, but I think if you pay for the big version, you don't get any. But like, it plays like
Okay.
one 30-second or two 30-second commercials. Not a really big deal.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh,
Gotcha.
that's not so bad. Yeah, because I have Peacock because it has all the Premier League games on. That's why I have Peacock.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, that's it. Really, nothing else. I wanted to. That's I guess out now, and I did want to watch Rebel Moon. Trying
Man,
to convince the
those
wife.
reviews are rough though.
No, they're real rough, and I apparently there's a director's cut out there that will make more sense.
Snyder loves his director's
Well,
cuts,
I'm like,
man.
why don't you just release that? Like, why put two parts? Have people criticize your movie only then to show them what you really wanted? Like, you're on Netflix. You could have made the movie 8 hours if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm the
It
same
didn't
way.
matter. You didn't have to worry about a studio putting it out. It was Netflix. You could do anything on Netflix.
Exactly. Why does Snyder always do this though? I'm
I
like,
don't know, bro. He's a weird. It's just weird how he does his things. Like, I don't fully understand it.
man, just put out what you want to put out at this point.
Yeah,
I'm tired of hearing about director's cuts for things.
I'm so sick of it. And then all you do is hurt your own movie because then people lose interest.
Hmm.
Like this, they're talking about this going to be like the next best thing to Doom. The
I
Dune.
love the Dune,
Obviously not, because Dune got rave reviews from almost everybody.
and Dune
This
was
did
in
not.
theaters.
No, Dune was incredible, bro.
I'm telling you,
I
man.
really wished I could have watched Dune in the theater. But
Oh,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I had watched it in my
mhm.
house. I had all my stuff. It was like the atmosphere. I had like lights off, so I did the best I could. Theater experience wise, amazing.
But
Soon as
Dolby
Dune
would
comes
have
out,
been
oh, it would have
amazing.
been amazing, bro. That soundtrack was amazing. Just everything about the movie I loved. And that's what they were comparing it to? No. Not even close, bro.
Nah, and I even heard some Star Wars comparisons, and I was like, And
Well,
so
apparently it was supposed to be like his Star Wars story
Mhm.
with Star Wars characters he could have used. But then Disney was like, wait a minute, you're doing a little bit too weird here, so we're taking us away from you. And then he had to rewrite a lot of it. That's my boy, Ray, dying down the block. Um but they took away they took the license away from him. So
Yeah.
there's still stuff that you could see it could have been in his vision of it, but I guess it didn't like they were going. So that's how the whole Rebel Moon took a change.
Hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I do want to watch it, but I'm also like, if it sucks, then my wife can be like, "Oh, I don't want to watch part two." Then now I have to see the end. So I'm like, do I watch it by myself? I don't know. So
I
that's
s-
pretty much for me.
I saw half of Rebel Moon so far. It was
Yeah.
it didn't start off great. I will say that
You see what I'm saying?
it didn't start off great. The dialogue in the first half of it gave me Twilight vibes.
Ooh,
And I'm not saying it's Twilight level yet, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
it might get better in the second half. But that first half was a rough watch, and I was just like, my wife and I do movie nights as well, and I was just like, I could see her losing interest pretty quickly,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I better turn on something. So I turned on that Family Plan movie with Mark Wahlberg real quick.
Okay. No, sometimes I get a little selfish
Hmm.
because I'm like, if I'm by myself, I'd rather play a game.
Yeah.
That's just what I want to do. But if I'm with my wife and there's TV shows we want to watch, fine. But if I really want to watch a movie, I'm gonna push to watch this movie. And then like if I feel it's not going good, I still look over her. I'm like, hey, you want some soda or something? Like you want some popcorn? Because I feel like she's like zoned out.
Mhm.
But now, listen, I'm sorry, babe, but we have to finish this movie to the end.
Oh,
And then
you
I'm like, what you think about it? It sucked. I know it did, but why did it suck? Let's talk about it. She
you're
hated Dune.
committed. You're
She
committed.
hated it.
Oh, you serious? She hated
She
Dune?
absolutely hated it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my
So,
favorite movies that year.
oh my God, it was amazing, bro. Just like Mad Max, I thought Mad Max
Mhm.
was absolutely amazing. She was like, this is so stupid. I'm like, don't talk about Mad Max like this. And then but then you know what? Sometimes I watch movies she wants to watch. Usually I do enjoy it, even though I had no interest in it. But sometimes I just think it's also sucked. But you know what? I mean, you live and learn, You pick and choose, bro.
Okay. So your wife, how big of a Christmas movie fan is she?
She loves Christmas movies.
Same with mine.
Elf is her favorite right now. She loves Elf. She watch Elf all the time.
Okay.
But I did when I did the podcast for the
Mhm.
Christmas thing, my special. I totally forgot about Christmas with the Cranks,
Oh, that's a classic.
and I'm like, oh my God, how to forget about this? Like I thought that was the best, like I guess modern movie now for me at least. I thought it was really funny. I liked it.
I think that's what 13 years old or
Yeah, it's old, bro. Like
yeah, it's
12 or something. Yeah, so or yeah, 2012 something like that.
okay.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. I saw it on TV, and I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot about this Christmas." Because when I first saw it, I thought it was the Santa Claus,
Yeah.
but that's what they made the. I'm like, wait a minute, she wasn't in Santa Claus, and I'm like, oh man, he did 2 Christmas movies. This guy.
That's funny. I didn't
Yeah.
even piece that together.
Yep. So, what about you?
Yeah, we watched
What the rig got for you?
yeah, The Ray, yeah, I'll probably continue watching Reacher. Sadly, that's a week to week thing though. And then let's see. I watched and mowed down all the current episodes of Invincible season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Absolutely love it. One of my favorite shows going on right now.
Oh, that's
Um
dope.
yeah, I love all those like I'm not gonna call them raunchy, but like gritty superhero shows, almost
Mm-hmm.
like The Boys and
Yeah, me too. I love it, bro.
love those. So I'm
The
like,
boy. Yeah, me too.
so I am loving Invincible right now, and then I'll probably what else am I gonna watch? That's about it, man. There's no really big movies on the
Yeah,
horizon
nah,
right
nothing
now.
really.
Nah, so I'm like,
Like, I wanted to watch. Well, I found out about Pearl.
okay,
My friend told my aunt, she loves horror movies. My aunt loves horror movies. She talked about Pearl, and then I did some research, and apparently, X was the first film,
oh
Pearl's the
wow,
sequel, and then Maxine is the third film.
are
So I'm
those
like,
horror
oh,
movies?
yeah, horror movies, yeah.
Okay,
It's like an old school, like 70s vibe style. So I wanted to watch those. My wife will not watch those movies. She does not like horror movies. So
yeah.
that I'll have to watch by myself or early in the morning with the headphones on because she doesn't want to hear. She hears it, she's gonna freak out. The
Mhm.
only way I'll get her to watch a horror movie is if we do horror movie night like once a year, and I have to pick a movie that at least has a really good story
Okay.
because she's gonna get scared regardless. But at least if
Mhm.
the story's good, she'll accept being scared because it was a good
What was
story.
last year's horror movie night?
We watched. Oh my God, what did we watch last year? First of all, we went from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
We did The Fog. We went to the classics with the good
Mhm.
stories. And then I felt like modern was too much for her, but she kind of got voted out of The Conjuring.
Okay.
Now The Conjuring storyline is phenomenal, but this is not for somebody who does not watch horror movies.
No,
This
for
was
sure
not
not.
this was not your next step. So she did it. So to me, if you did The Conjuring, you're ready for almost anything. But I still got to break it down. I don't remember what we watched last year. I can ask. What did we watch last year? Oh, that's right. Sinister with Ethan Hawke,
Sinister.
which she
Okay.
enjoyed.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, and then The Conjuring. Yeah, so I mean that two pretty back to back heavies right there.
Okay. Those aren't too
Yeah.
bad. Those aren't too bad. The Conjuring's rough though. I'm like,
Oh,
that's hard
I watched
mode.
it in the theater and I was like, ooh. It took me. I mean, like stuff like that. I get excited when a horror movie can scare me because I almost expect everything, but then I don't like the ones like No, like Saw is just so ultra violent. They try to shock you with that.
Yeah, it's
I'd
gory.
rather be shocked with like a good story and a good scare,
Mhm.
or like an uneasiness feeling than just a shock and awe. Like back in the day, you're watching Jason Voorhees for just because the way he's going to kill the counselors, not because of the story. People
Gotcha.
were like, "Oh, look what he did! That was a cool scene." I mean, was it? Like you just watched it for that.
I think Scream is about as horror as I could go. Like,
Well, Scream was great. Scream was classic, bro.
yeah, I was like, those are about as horror as I could go. I'm a chicken too.
Yeah, yeah. It's rough though, but I mean, she promised me one movie a year,
Okay.
so we stick by that hardcore. That was a promise when we started going out. So
Okay.
at least
So,
one a year.
so y'all
Oh,
are committed to this.
we're committed. See, so
Okay.
like Walking Dead when it first came out, she didn't like horror, but I
Okay.
told her the story. So let's watch the first episode and just check it out. So she did like it.
Mhm.
She got used to the zombies. They're slow, whatever. And then one horror night, we want to watch Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's
Oh, that's a
remake of
different
it.
beast, though.
Well, you know what? I forgot, bro. I
Mhm.
forgot they ran. Totally forgot about that because it's been a long time. And I'm like, she's used to zombies, and what's different? We'll watch this. No.
No,
A
those are
walking
different
zombie
zombies.
and a running zombie, two different things. So the very first scene when things were happening, she's like, "Oh wow, that's kind of crazy." She's getting a little bit nervous. I could see it. She held my hand, whatever. But I expected that. What I didn't expect was when the little girl jumped on the car, like she was like. So we did watch it, but the next day in the daytime, I had to
Mhm.
turn it off. She was like, "Nope, nope,
Not
nope."
happening.
We had to turn that off.
That's
So I
funny.
make mistakes. I make mistakes sometimes. She got mad, but she finished it. I appreciate the effort.
What was the fastest zombie movie I think I saw? What was it? DayZ?
Yeah, but we watched Daisy. She wasn't
Mhm.
scared of it. It almost like almost comical.
Uh-huh.
So it was like I didn't really think about that movie was all. What I think the craziest zombie movie because if it's gonna be realistically based, I would say like 28 Days Later.
Oh yeah, that
Because
was a
what the
different
scary
beast.
part is, the first part is like, yeah, the zombies and outbreak and you kill. But they're not even called zombies, they're called something else. But the second act flipped it, where the humans really would be disgusting to one each other.
Mhm.
That's what would really happen. Humanity would fall apart when there's no law and order. So that was really the scariest part of that movie. What we could do to each other during a time like that, instead of stopping these zombies, which is wild. I love that movie. That was what's his name
I can't
from
remember.
Peaky Blinders?
Yeah.
Oh
That's a
God,
that's a creepy show as well.
what's his name? Peaky Blinders. Cillian Murphy. There you go. Shout out to my boy.
Mhm.
Yep.
I always know him from Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
because
supposed to be Batman, right?
you kidding me?
He had tried out for Batman. But he was like, you know what? I don't really want to be Batman. Like he tried out for it, was real honest about it, didn't think he was gonna be him. He didn't want to do the working out, he wanted to be committed. So
Okay.
then the director was like, well, why don't you try this character? And he's
He
like, really? He's like, yeah, he tried out for that and got it.
he was good as
And he
Scarecrow.
was and he was good. He was in all three of them, ironically, which is pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
And then Christian Bale tried out for Robin and Batman and Robin and the other one to Chris O'Donnell.
That's
So isn't
crazy.
that crazy?
That's
Right?
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thankfully, they're rebooting all the DC movies now. So,
Oh, I can't wait for this restart. Like, don't get me. I love the Batman. I'm looking
mhm.
forward to the sequel. I'm happy that that's not part of anything.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just its own thing. But I'm curious to know what they're gonna do because I really feel like the superhero movies. It's like I don't care what's being released now.
Yeah. You
Like
need
Aquaman
stakes
2
again.
looks
Oh,
ridiculous.
terrible. Yeah.
I don't even know what that's supposed to be.
Yeah,
Like,
we need stakes again. We need a big bad for Marvel needs a big bad and a game plan.
yeah, yeah.
Like give us something to look forward to that's not marred in controversy because of a person's
Mm-hmm.
wrongdoing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you give us that and show us a little bit of the game plan, because right now, if they announce like Doctor Doom is going to be like the new big bad, I think a lot of people get excited again.
I think so too. And I think things need to happen where you're a big bad for a reason.
Hmm.
And maybe, you kill characters off.
I'm fine with that.
like it has to happen, right? I mean, you cannot be this character for 40 years. Things gotta
No, no,
change, bro.
no. I'm
That'll be
like,
interesting. That's why Thanos, I thought like the Avengers thing, I thought that was pretty cool. Some came back,
mhm.
some didn't, but I thought he was like legit a big baddie.
Yeah, yeah. It felt like there was consequences behind all
Like in
those
no
actions.
Batman movie I ever watched did I ever feel anything was gonna happen to anybody bad.
Oh,
Ever.
really?
Yeah. I mean, what, he's gonna die? No, he's not. He's gonna survive.
Hmm.
People around him may die, but they're just side characters. It's not a big deal.
That's true.
I wasn't shocked. Oh well, she died. Okay, it figures that's why this happened. You
That's
know.
true. That's
Now
true.
you're making a Justice League movie or something like that, and other characters start to be popped off by a big baddie. Oh, you know, it's business now. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, can you imagine if Doctor Doom just sucked out Captain Marvel's powers and just like,
You
and
know
she was
what?
just dead after that?
It'd be amazing.
Oh, the shock value alone,
Yeah,
though, would be
that alone. And then
crazy.
you know what? Now when there's a certain fight, you don't know what's gonna happen. That's how you make a movie, bro.
Yeah, yeah. You
At
gotta have
no
some
point
stakes.
did I think Batman was gonna get killed in the Batman or
Hmm.
hurt. I Of course not. He has to finish the film.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
He
it's like
got
how
demolished, by the
yeah,
way, at
he
the end of
did.
that
I
movie.
mean, I was like, I appreciated that because it showed like even like all his skill, bro. Eventually, like this ain't a video game either, you know. Like you're gonna
Yeah,
be so that was cool, but I didn't feel like he was gonna die in that movie.
yeah. I can get that. I can get
And
that
that makes me
completely.
more mad is like they tell you, oh, we signed for 4 films. Ah, great. So now you know for 4 films, it's
He's
gonna
gonna
be
be
there.
around.
Yeah, this is crazy, bro. So you know.
That makes sense. That makes sense completely.
Hmm.
So, all right. So, I think that is basically what we're going to be watching. Everyone, let us know what you're going to be watching in our Discord, or if you want to reach out to us. Do you remember this? Where people can reach out to us at?
Yeah, they can reach us at questions at
Okay,
unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com, or in the Instagram,
the gram.
unofficial controller podcast. You could just DM us, or in the description, there's the link to the Discord, and come join that bad boy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Where Bobby will be answering all your questions, superhero
I do.
related.
Listen, when I'm bored, I'm in there, man. If I'm not busy at work, check out the Discord.
All right, everyone, before we go, we do have a couple of announcements to make. Our first announcement is not really an announcement per se, but it is a congratulations. We need to congratulate someone, and that is Fat Zangief, because he killed it in our fantasy football, in our fantasy game league.
Yes.
Absolutely killed it. He was our first place winner with his team called Spankathon. Spankathon. He had Bobby. Did you hear about like how well he did in the league?
No, he did really good.
He did really good. All right,
He
so
did really good.
he got first place. I got second place. Mikey Wrestling got third. Roasted Space Monk got fourth. Fifth was Monkery, and Bada Bingsta was sixth place. Really good competition though, all
It
around.
was tight to the end, man.
Yeah,
It really
absolutely
was
tight.
tight to the end.
Absolutely tight. But after I think Fat Zangief, there was a game that came out towards the end of the year called Asgard's Wrath 2.
Hmm.
Have you heard about this one?
No.
Okay, so this game's been getting tens and all across the games industry. Like IGN gave it a 10. I think it was also Game Informer, but anyways, like it's been getting super well reviewed. It's probably one of the best like VR games of all time at this point.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, it is. It's up there. Probably this, and then what is the other one? Half Life Alex too. Half Life Alex was probably
Hmm.
another one that's probably considered one of the goats of VR. But it's like, yeah, this game it came out like towards the end of the year, scored him a 93, which gave him 27 points.
That's
27
crazy.
points. By the way, before that, it was like I think him and I were neck and neck because I ended up with 150 points. He ended up with 175 points. So if he didn't get that, if he didn't clinch that up with Asgard's Wrath, I would have. It would have been that close to where
That
I
close,
would have
yeah.
been. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would have been the first place winner. But like,
Yeah, that was incredible, bro.
yeah, shout out to all y'all. And by the way, everyone listening, if you want to be a part of this, just let us know in the Discord, or send us the DM, and we'll get you involved with that. We're about to sign up for our 2024 season, everybody. So let us know. We'll be drafting for that one very soon. Our next announcement is, thank y'all. Is a thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast, whether it be our normal show or whether it be the occasional American takeover. Thank y'all so much, and we appreciate all the support you're giving the show.
Yeah, we really do. It's nice.
Yeah,
That's your feedback too from having some good DMs in the chat with people who listen. I think it's incredible.
for sure, for sure. Would you like to say anything before we get up out here, Bobby?
No, not really. Just
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, nothing else really to say.
All right, sounds good. We let you know what we've been playing, what we're going to be watching. If you have any questions, let us know. This has been the American edition of the UCP podcast. Until next time, we'll catch you later. Bye, everybody.
Peace out.